looking west at the sign that's located at this point. This is directly across the street from 421 Andover. After I pushed aside a small tree branch and then headed around this pile of rocks, come up to a trail that will lead off generally west, going up into the forest. After a while, the trail turns slightly northwest. It's not too bad in the walking. Might be a little rough on a bicycle. And it's kind of narrow for any vehicles, which you wouldn't want up here anyway. Same location, looking down the path from which I walked up. Rock painting off to the right of the trail, a little further up, maybe 50 meters. And I think this was put on in the timing is right in 1996. Artist unknown. Painting site, the trail does take a slight upward grade, as you can see. Are at the top of the grade, and apparently this was a site of a very small skating party or sledding party. The sled is ready for next winter once they get the water out. And here's the view of that trail looking down. Not too formidable. A little further up, the trail widens out, and I can tell also there are signs that horses have been up the path or down the path. Hard to tell the direction. The trail dead ends into this what looks like a fairly recently bulldozed dirt road, and the dirt road heads south toward Andover Heights, where you may hear some construction going on at this time, and it then leads up north, generally toward the water tower, and we'll take a shot of that at the top of this rise. Well, I couldn't see the water tower, but I certainly can see some of the houses in the Andover Heights development. It'd be difficult to get through to the tower. I'm going to move along a berm up behind the house here on the side. With the berm, and again, show you where we are around Andover Heights. There's the house I photographed before, and I'll swing around in a minute and show you where the water tower is from this point. Here we are looking up the other way, and there's the water tower, which is definitely located in the town forest. As you can tell, it's not too far from where I am, although the tank is quite large and distances might be a little deceiving. Here I am a little closer to the tower, and you can see water indication. And at this point also there is a trail, almost a road that leads off toward slightly southwest. And it was probably used in conjunction with the construction of a couple of water mains, one going to the industrial area and one coming down Andover Road. A couple of them were recorded as approved in 1989. Water tower from the mini manhole, which says water on top of it. I'm standing perhaps 70 meters or so from the water tank at this time, and I've moved just a bit up the trail. We'll take a shot looking down the other way in just a minute. I'm standing now on a platform below the water tank and looking back down the trail, which leads generally south, and this is the one I came up. Right now it's about 11:45, and it's fairly quiet. I guess most people are now at lunch. These are the plates that are over the distribution, what I would call a distribution box for the water. And we see that they were made in Neenah, Wisconsin. And you can see they're well sealed up. Another plate. And from here, I believe the controls are to bring the water down into the industrial area, which is off generally in this direction, and into the Andover Road and the Andover Heights building area, a corner of which you can see off in the distance. This is all part of the Wilmington Town Forest, established in 1980. Well, it was set up as conservation land in 1985, but the forest was established in 1975. Hazy in this direction today, but on a good day, especially in the autumn and the fall when the leaves are off, you can see all the way down into the Logan Airport area and see the planes coming in and going out, and even a little bit of Boston. We're looking along the perimeter of the water tower itself. Oh, there's the edge, okay. And I'm going to pan up to give you an idea of the size of this thing. It is good size. And there's the top. A view along the edge of the water tower. There you see it. And the road at this point goes generally east back down the hill, but not exactly the way we came up. So we'll take that and take a view a little further up. And here we see someone out for a little brisk run up the hill. Now we're looking at perhaps the north side of the tower, and this is the side that is closer to, or closest to, Camp 40 Acres. And we've been moving on a path that curved down. Well, you saw the runner. He curved in, went around the tank, and back out again and back down the trail. From the same point I made the shot of the tower, you can see what I referred to as a trail is actually more like a road, and this is probably the access road to the tower itself. We'll take a walk now and go down here several hundred meters, and the road takes a dog leg to the left, and then we'll end up on the back side of Research Drive and the lock gate at that point. That lock gate, but on the way itself we pass by a junction in the trail, and this part of the trail, and you're probably getting seasick, but at this point the trail leads off down and down further, and it ends up at the front entrance to Camp 40 Acres. So we're kind of, in a way, at the point where Andover and Wilmington come together. Junction, now we're looking further along the road that leads to the lock gate behind Research Drive. Sections of that road leading toward the gate. As you can see, it's heavily wooded, and it's really a beautiful area. A little cooler under here. At this time, it's 6 minutes after noon. And another little area, some beautiful trees. And I believe that these two, and perhaps this other one, are oaks. But maybe a plant botanist would help us out on the identification if we were to put a good trail in here. A good nature trail, that is. Perhaps 50 meters further along the trail, up from that group of trees, and you can see off to the right side of the trail is a new location of the Frito-Lay, which was built on the land sold to them by the by the Sons of Italy. And it is a thriving area. We'll take a little closer look at it as we go further along. Another view of the Frito-Lay building, whose access is through Ballardale. And you can tell by the trucks about where I was before. There were some excellent early blueberries at the last location, and here we are finally coming up on that lock gate I told you about earlier. The other side of the gate, and now we're going to swing down and look generally toward the south. And they're part of Andover Heights is generally in this direction. And then of course you can tell the buildings of Research Drive, or the end of Research Drive, are out this way. There's also a nice paved parking lot, which I would hope the residents of Wilmington could use to gain access to the town forest. Beyond this parking lot that's near that locked gate. Here we see another view of the parking lot and the locked gate, and a little further up here you notice there are a few poles, and we look down in this area, and this is obviously a boggy area, so you can see the cattails and some of the other vegetation you would find in a swampy area. It's too early for the blackberries, but the blueberries are coming along. Here's another view of the Andover Heights area, which is just beyond the parking lot of some buildings that were built off of Research Drive. You can see they've built cleared some kind of a road, sort of a boulder barrier to both visibility and to access. View from the same location as the last one, showing the industrial building nearby this pile of boulders. Bear with me. And we get a view of the water tower from that parking lot. And then we'll swing down a little bit. And there's some recent construction. Walked almost all the way back past the tower, and we're looking back up the trail down which I came, and we're still heading down the trail toward the conservation sign. So we're going to take a left off here where the trail up intersected this dirt road. It still has dozer marks on it. And we're looking down the trail now. We're going this way right to the back of the sign. There are a number of these low bushes along the way, and I think this is the type of shrub that the Native Americans used as a insect repellent or as a lotion. I'm sure there's a botanist that'll set me straight. A little further down the trail, and again in the background some more of those Native American balm trees or balm bushes, whatever they are. Let me know. It looked like a mini daisy to me, but I'm sure there's someone that has the complete name, which is probably longer than they are. And I think that's Queen Anne's lace, but I'm sure someone will help me with the name. The rock, the sign, and the car. And the car has air conditioning. So let's head on down the trail. Look at the car at 1:07 in the PM. The view of that very large house we saw from the other side down in the parking lot, and I'm presently up in the Andover Heights area. As you can see, the grounds themselves are still undergoing a lot of work. Location, a view of the water tower.